Imagine that now you can have a gigantic mega factory when you can run all your big manufacturing operations. As we've seen in GPUs, all of your weights and parameters, they sit far from the warehouse, and your factory is in a different building. Well, Cerebras' idea is to put a gigantic operation all under the same roof. Materials, machinery, everything under the same warehouse. So you do not build a lot of small factories one next to another like Grox, but you have one single colossal factory with everything under it. This is what wafer scale engine do. It's essentially one big chip where you can put all of your stuff on it. And if you want to put all of your stuff on it, well, first you start with memory. We've seen that there is the problem of data movement. There is a lot of data moving around when you play with inference. So the first thing you want to put in this big factory is the storage that in the GPU's approach is very far. Now we put it directly on the factory. And how do we do that? Well, we use SRAMs. So again, we avoided the problem of having a lot of workers moving back and forth from the HBM to the chip to having all of the stuff built on the chip through the SRAM, which is local memory. SRAM is like a physically big local memory that you can put only if you have a big chip. The result is that in this new warehouse, the workers don't have to waste the time to take the data and moving into the factory, but they're already there. The data is already there, so they can spend 100% of the time on actually building stuff. So if we go back to the problem of GPUs having a lot of time wasted to moving the data, now there is essentially zero wasted time because there is zero data movement. All the data is already on the chip, so every single time you have to generate one token and move the internal weights and move a lot of data, you waste zero time, and again the utilization is almost 100%. So with the Cerebras wafer scale mega factory, it's as if your model stays on the same chip as the compute cores. So you are basically always in-house, and each token is produced without the overhead of traveling off-site. So while Grox tackled the GPU problems by creating pipelines through LPUs, by creating LPUs that have a pipeline architecture, Cerebras uses a completely different approach that uses huge SRAMs that sit on the chip. In both cases, the data movement is essentially zeros and the utilization is super high. So where does all of this leave NVIDIA? Is GPU's empire dying, or at least risking to disappear? Well, I would say no, and GPUs will always be there for training. Well, GPUs will always be the best alternative for training, and training is still going to be an important part of the AI stack and AI infrastructure. But it really feels like the future of AI infrastructure is going to be in inference more than it's going to be on training. As generative models, which need a generative inference, spread to every single industry that we know, well, the scale of inference is going to be so high that really GPUs, because they are so inefficient and inadequate to do inference, well, the chances are that a lot of the value in the infrastructure layer is going to shift from GPUs to more specialized architecture that are built exactly for AI. GPU's approach on HBM's memory, off-chip memory, is really super inefficient for inference, both in terms of cost, high cost, a lot of time to generate one token, and wasted electricity for all of the unutilized throughput during inference.